one more thing.
Yo, what's going on? It's one more thing, and it's the 200th of December. It's not, it's the 20th of December, but today's the 200th of December because we're celebrating a 200 BPM release. And I tell you what, like, I'm really buzzing that we're finishing the year with something so fast and something so different and fresh. So I thought I'd turn the 20th into 200, and we're just going to roll out all of the cool stuff that we've been doing recently around this kind of release. I'm just going to dump it out here throughout the day on YouTube, and people can come and go as they please and check it out, maybe in the future, maybe never. Maybe you hate fast tempos, it doesn't matter. Here I am to tell you about 200 BPM music and why it's so interesting. So this kind of starts off with Woosh. Woosh has been coming to the demo drop regularly, and he's been sending me all different types of stuff, really interesting. And so we were having a conversation on email. And then he said, like, oh, I've got this 200 BPM stuff. Now, I like different things. I like it when people push the boundaries a little bit or do something different or send me something that's completely, like, you know, that I wouldn't have seen coming in any type of way. And that's exactly what he did. And there was a bootleg of a very famous jungle tune in there, which actually caught my senses. But out of respect to the originator, that's not coming out. But it really got me interested, so I started playing around with it. I was playing at this like kind of private party festival, they called it a festival, and it was a really interesting kind of dynamic where you had a lot of like women kind of older than me, slightly older, like, you know, kind of drunken mums who wanted to hear the classics, and then you had a bunch of people much younger than me but into the same music as me who wanted to hear drum and bass. So I started to kind of mess around, and I used some of this 200 BPM stuff over 100 BPM kind of bootlegs. And I've always really liked that extreme, that kind of dynamic is something that's always appealed to me from like turntablist videos and stuff where it's going full pelt jungle and then a hip hop tune comes in, and the whole halftime thing is really important. When I say 200 BPM, I also mean 100 BPM as well. And when you're able to play in such a wide access, you can do some really cool things. And this is what has really excited me. I mean, the music is amazing. Like 200 BPM music has existed for a very long time. Breakcore exists, gabber exists, hardcore exists. There's loads and loads of fast tempos. They've been going on for ages. We ain't inventing the wheel here. But what's happened here is that Woosh has used a drum and bass production technique on 200 BPM music. So essentially he's created 200 BPM drum and bass rather than other 200 BPM music. And that's what really kind of interested me, was that funk, that snap. Was like, wow. So first, like, for a little while I was kind of slowing it down just to see if it would fit, maybe kind of speeding up drum and bass. But I don't really play drum and bass at a very high pace. I tend to kind of slow it down more. Like if I'm going to play drum and bass and I'm playing a straight drum and bass set, it's probably going to be more 170, 171, 172 maximum. I mean, I do if I'm B2B and I'll play whatever tempo we go to. But that's the, you know, in fact, I prefer even slower. Like if I'm playing drum and bass and kind of jungle, that kind of late 60s, 165, 169 type of thing. But you ramp that mother up to 200. And there's another vibe in there. So at first I started thinking about what other things I could play around with it. And I was thinking about the disco records. I got the funk records quite often. Some of their BPMs are a bit weird in Record Box, and they're like 200 BPM anyway. But it's actually 100 BPM. So I was kind of thinking of that. Then I spoke to Woosh, and we talked about me going up to Leeds to do a little mix with him and just have a vibe and catch up and meet properly and stuff like that. And we started talking about like recording a mix. And we thought, we'll do that. We'll do a mix. And I started talking about like flipping down to slower 100 BPM records. And he was like, no, speed up slower records, isn't it? And he'd already been playing around with things. He'd been speeding up dubstep records. And it was just like ping, like this light bulb opened up. And suddenly I started listening to music completely differently in terms of what I might play as a DJ. It opened up this whole other world. It took away loads and loads of brackets and boundaries and ideas and kind of things that are stuck in your head without you even realizing, like, I couldn't possibly play that with that. when you change the tempo completely, you really, really can. And I've got some great examples of how interesting this can be. This is purely from like a creative DJing point of view. This is great. So one of the mixes we recorded for about 3.5 hours in Mesh Studio in Leeds, which is an amazing place. Really, really cool. Link to them is down there, like amazing community hub in Leeds, like really awesome concept. So we went up there, we just recorded. We had a vibe, we had a few little ideas and stuff like that. We got like it ended up with two mixes. There was a little bit of a technical failure halfway through, so it's split into two mixes. And I just want to show you a bit. I'm just going to bring it up now for me to see. Okay. So this is part one now. In between 30 minutes and 40 minutes, so in a 10-minute section, these are the tunes that we've got in there. Okay, so I'm playing Addison Groove Phantom, which is a really, really interesting 140 tune. Very, very deep usually, but you ramp that up and, we're in techno territory. Okay, so that's the first tune in this little 10-minute window here. Now we move on to a really, really slowed down version of Fatboy Slim, Praise You. So you've gone from Addison Groove to Fatboy Slim. And then within a moment, we've got Otto von Schirach and Dormouse, which they exist at 200 BPM and faster, and very much protagonists in the fast tempo movement. I don't think those three records have ever been mixed together before. And then in comes Woosh now. So he's throwing in some hard dance with Gecko. And then he takes it even further to, I've never even heard this one. It's called Dutch Green Stuff Bootleg. It sounds very, very, very hard dance, and it's very, very silly. I wanna puff, puff, some of the Dutch stuff. I wanna puff, puff, give me the green things. I wanna puff, puff, some of the Dutch stuff. I wanna puff, puff, give me the green things. I wanna puff, puff, some of the Dutch stuff. I wanna puff, puff, give me the green things. I wanna puff, puff. So that, maybe the Gecko track of that might fit together there, but then what is he bringing in next? Crystal fucking clear. Crystal clear, like one of the coolest drum and bass producers he's come back to have emerged in the last couple of years. Proper headsy drum and bass, and there, like Woosh is mixing it in at 200 BPM, and it sounds good. This is the best thing. After that, he plays Rockwell as well. It goes on and on and on. In that 10-minute window, you've got all those different artists, but it all makes sense. This isn't like a crazy kind of party where we're egging each other on to play something so different that it's kind of like it's wacky or something. Have a listen to these mixes when they go up. Like, this is really, really interesting. I've told you how much I've become really, really inspired by mixing at this tempo. How often have you been playing kind of these type of sets, and have you got, as are you incorporating the 200 stuff in your sets as often as you can, or is it a separate thing? How do you feel? Has it excited you as much as it's clearly made me fizzy?
It has. I've found very, very few opportunities to play stuff at that tempo, all the way at 200 BPM. There's certain parties that you can do it, the parties where you know that your audience is more inclined to listen to something that isn't in the mainstream. They're more inclined to be challenged by what's coming out of the speakers. But like I say, it's been pretty rare. The kind of gigs I usually play, the whole event has been curated. For example, I've been asked to play drum and bass. I'm not going to go and play 200 BPM stuff. if I've been asked to play garage, I'm going to play garage, or you're not going to get booked again, are you? You know what I mean? So, but
This is
the opportunities I have had, it's got a really good reaction because some of it is genuinely quite fresh. People have come up to me and said, I haven't heard anything really like that because a lot of the boundary test tracks it's almost like sped up drum and bass, whereas the tunes that are already out there at that kind of tempo, they kind of all have a similar, it might be tech, as in tech with a K. So it knows what it is. It's pretty much gabber, but you don't tend to hear, sort of that technical minimal drum and bass sound played at that tempo. But it works. I think it works anyway.
it really, really does work. Oi, 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 oi. Hey, wow. I'm going to play something a little bit interesting, a little bit special. I mean, we're using the master tempo. We're not doing any kind of edits, pre-mix or anything. Some of the tunes that are at 200 BPM, we're mixing them normally with CDJs. Otherwise, we're using the Zoom tempo, which ain't precise in any way. So it's kind of got that feeling of danger, of like being on the seat of your pants and like, oh. So I did a set recently at the launch for Sonnet's Bobby EP. That was an amazing party. I don't know if any of you watched the stream. We actually got kicked off, and this channel's got a warning because of it. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it was this mix. I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, I mean, I just want to show you this because this is really, really, really intense mixing. It was in front of a crew of people who I'd all told off because they kept on going out smoking for other people's sets, and I didn't want that to happen on my set. No more smoking. No more going out. I'm looking at part-time smokers. Part-time smokers, right? No smoking. You're going to listen to some fucking wicked music. Full-time smokers, you're allowed because you smoke. But part-time smokers, jokers. And it was the stress by that, a few hours of stress as the organizer, kind of doing things with the party. There were moments which pushed me a little bit, but it was all cool. And I arrived, it came to my set and I was just like, right, okay, I'm going in. I didn't really have that much of a plan. I was using a couple of the mixes that I've done previously with Woosh, but I wanted to keep it fresh. I mean, this whole mix, like, is just intense. At points, I'm not really too sure if it's working or not, but Scar-Tip's getting on the microphone. It's just...
Dave getting fiendish.
Yeah, that was, do you know what? And again, I know that I was, quite inebriated and... yeah, but your set was fucking awesome. Like, just genuinely, I just remember, just remember it being. I'm not listening. I'm not watched the whole thing back, but I just remember it being. It almost felt like, like those quite iconic sets where the DJs are really trying to fuck with your head. It felt like that.
One more thing, Sufhead.
Go on.
Those sets that those sets that stick in your mind where you're just like, what the? Because it's not that often these days where you're like a DJ. I don't know, James, a bit like Andy C in this heyday, where when you're like, what the hell did he just do? Or like James Abili is like, it kind of felt like that.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Which was cool.
Man.
Yeah, and I didn't, it was just, it almost felt like an experiment rather than a DJ set.
Completely. Right. And that was the headspace that I was in as well, really. But the best thing is, like, when it gets like too heavy and too dark and you can see that you're losing people's attention, then all you need to do is just drop a little bit of hip hop.
Yeah, from the home of the Dodger Football Squad. Wu-Tang Killer beats on the swarm. Pain on your college ass disco dorm. But you didn't even touch my skill. You gotta go through one killer bee and he ain't for the kill now.
Chairs made of human skeletons.
There we go. absolutely ridiculous tune here by Dormouse called Skelly Chair. This has been a particular favourite that I found while finding stuff, because this is really difficult to dig as well, by the way. You know, like you're kind of, there is no 200 BPM section on Beatport, there is no 200 BPM section on Juno Download or anything like that. There are good tags on Bandcamp, but you tend to find the kind of cheesier stuff. So there's a lot of weird shit at this tempo. But that's why it's so great to just try and find tunes and be like, ooh, this is a really spacey dubby tune. I wonder what this sounds like sped up to 200. Or this is a pretty busy garage tune. I wonder what this sounds like being slowed down at 100. So here we go. Like, I just wanted to kind of show you this bit from my set from Sonnet's party. And it's just fast, it's fun. This is me speeding up a house tune, Daphne, Sad Piano House, I think it's called. I can't remember, I should have the details in front of me, but I don't. And then we start going into it, start cutting in, introducing DJ Shadow. Like a cover version of that by Ruby, My Dear, which is another, like, who is another really, really amazing breakcore artist from France who's doing really, really interesting stuff. But it's fun. You can put anything into this bracket, a bit like drum and bass and jungle. Like, you know, you can just, you've got that tempo, you can throw whatever you like into it and it's working. I love those little switches with the pianos. There's lots of kind of fairgroundy elements. There's lots of kind of circusy elements. It's so fast, it's silly that you have to have fun with it. If anybody ever wondered what I looked like when I was about 6 years old at Christmas time, it's pretty much like this. Bouncing up and down like an idiot child. And then another little one that I just want to show you that shows how much fun that you can have at this tempo. Here we go. This is Woosh, who is an absolutely outstanding DJ and one of my favorite DJs who I think I've seen play and do a back-to-back with this year. He really knows his way around the effects of the loops. I mean, I think I'm a little bit techie, but this guy is proper techie as hell. And here we go, like he's bringing in DJ Rap, Spiritual Aura, TC Remix. And my reaction, I mean, I almost just kind of melt off the side of the decks and give him the finger. Here we go, here we go. big fingers for Woosh there, and big fingers to everybody who is enjoying playing at really fast tempos. Like I said, we're not reinventing the wheel. 200 BPM music has existed for a very long time, but this is our take on it, and this is what we're doing. And for the whole day up until 8 o'clock, 2000 hours, we are doing different bits of 200 BPM stuff. There will be a whole range of different mixes. There's a short interview. We got Dysfunction doing a mix for us as well, and then I will be finishing off with a live stream tonight where I will be experimenting with loads of different 100 and 200 BPM tunes, and hopefully having a little bit of fun, maybe a little bit of chat on the mic as well. I might just be mixing, I'm not sure. So that's it. I kissed the 200 BPM and I liked it. I loved it so much, I'm going to marry it. 200 BPM, it's the future. Thank you very much if you've watched all of this. Please enjoy all of the stuff today, and let us know what you're feeling. Like, we're doing something different. So if you're tired of the same old, maybe this is the fresh thing that you're looking for. Maybe it's something you hate. If you hate it, let us know as well. We're totally interested in everybody's opinion. So that's Woosh Boundary Test. It's out now. Happy 200th of December. Obviously the highlight of the month. There's nothing else going on in December that I can think of. Enjoy all of the content, and then stay tuned tomorrow, because it marks exactly a year since we released our ambient record, our first ambient tune. And I'll be doing an ambient mix as well, like a real super chill out one, like just a one more thing mix as well. It's only one more thing content. So that's where we're at. That is where we're at. Happy 200th of December. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy all of the content that we're doing, and please help us spread the word and support us. Thank you.
One more thing.